So there seems to be an interesting rumor floating around about the Philadelphia 76ers in the recent days. Could there potentially be a new big three this upcoming offseason? I will give my thoughts and we will break it all down. Let's go.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome back on into Philly Take with RB, your number one hotspot for Sixers coverage. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you're notified about all the videos, live streams, etc. Appreciate everybody supporting the content today. We are back, and there seems to be an interesting rumor going around from a former NBA player. Is there validity to it? I will give my thoughts on even if I want it to happen at this point. We will talk about it all. And as always, give me your thoughts as well. But before we get right into that, first and foremost, I want to say that we made a new channel, Instagram page. A lot of you follow me on my personal ones, but this one is going to be strictly for the channel. We also have a coinciding Twitter page as well. So be sure to follow me on there. We'll be posting a lot of the little clips and news stuff, all that stuff related to the Sixers. Go ahead and give me a follow and check it out. I really do appreciate the support, guys. But anyway, getting into what we need to talk about here today, it surrounds Bradley Beal. Yes, that is right. There's a rumor going around that this upcoming offseason, as Bradley Beal becomes a free agent, he could want to team up with James Harden and Joel Embiid as a Sixer and form a new big three. Now, this comes from Andrew Bogut, a former NBA player, former Sixers legend. If you know, you know. But Andrew Bogut has a podcast, as every NBA player now does, called the Rogue Bogues Pod. I love it. And here was a quote that he made on the podcast. I did listen to the clip. I did not go get the actual clip, but this is pretty much what he said. I've heard a pretty big rumor that Bradley Beal is trying to team up with Joel Embiid and James Harden in Philadelphia. And he said that he had heard it from, sources close to the situation, and he had heard it from multiple sources as well. So Andrew Bogut, the insider, now breaking some stuff. Now, we heard a lot of stuff, from Kendrick Perkins, and originally me and a lot of others were like, nah, we don't want to believe it, this and that. So look, I'm not going to completely throw this off the slate. If Andrew Bogut's hearing stuff, then Andrew Bogut's hearing stuff, okay? Nonetheless, Bradley Beal, James Harden, Joel Embiid. Now, Bradley Beal, as we all know, has his love and affection for the Washington Wizards franchise. For some reason, he has stayed there his entire career since being drafted number 3 overall. He's had a pretty good career, but again, it's never been able to excel based off, the fact that he never made it past the first couple rounds with the Washington Wizards. And to be quite honest, I don't see that happening at all because the Wizards have tried multiple courses. They just can't get it done for Bradley Beal. Now, as it relates to Bradley Beal this upcoming offseason, there's been a bunch of talk this year about, is he going to re-sign with the Wizards, this, and that. Obviously, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. But, if he does sign this summer, he is going to be eligible for a supermax contract upwards of 5 years, $246 million. There was also a recent quote from Bradley Beal, and he was talking about the community of Washington and all the things he's involved in, him and his wife, and just how he loves Washington. And, he pretty much kind of said, I'm leaning towards staying with Washington. But, at the end of the day, you hit 30 years old, you're starting to reflect on your career, right? And it's like, do I really want to do this for another 5 years? Do I want to be with this team where it doesn't seem like they're going to make many advancements, right? We're not going to really progress. I guess it just depends on the guy himself. But in terms of Bradley Beal, he can sign that massive contract extension this upcoming offseason. Now, he, of course, can sign anywhere else. I don't know if he'll make as much. I think it would be a little bit less. But, $250 million, that is life-changing. And Bradley Beal is a pretty good player, guy who can score the ball at an elite level. Obviously, he has a little bit of concern on the defensive side. And, a lot of people have questions, how he would fit with other people because we've never really seen it, right? It didn't work with Westbrook. John Wall, it did work, but the Wizards were never able to progress. And when you start to think about this with the Sixers, I was a guy who was always, let's go get Bradley Beal. Let's go get Bradley Beal. That was before the Sixers went out and made the blockbuster move to get James Harden. And now that we're looking at where this team is at, in my personal opinion, maybe I'm crazy for this, but I don't want Bradley Beal anymore. I don't want Bradley Beal. A lot of the guys that I had said I wanted, I don't think would fit here anymore, because I believe not only do we have one of the best duos in the league right now in James Harden and Joel Embiid, but now you have Tyrese Maxey rising to that superstar level. James Harden helping to get some of that top-level achievement out of Tyrese Maxey, and he looks so promising at age 21. We might have one of the best backcourts in the league for years to come. When you think about Bradley Beal, a guy who can go out and get you 25 a game, right? But again, has a little bit of mark on the defensive side of the ball. You know, the Sixers now honestly have one of the most cutthroat offenses in the league. Where they really need help is from the wing position, but it's more so from athleticism, right? Maybe like some 3-and-D players that can really complement James Harden and Joel Embiid. You got Tyrese Maxey playing off ball, who can also take the ball when needed. But yeah, our struggles right now surround 3-and-D players that can hit shots and also, be athletic, go get rebounds, be scrappy, right? I honestly feel like Matisse Thybulle is the perfect complement to a guy like James Harden, but he has to hit his shot consistently, right? George Niang has looked like a good complement to James Harden and Joel Embiid because he's scrappy, he knows his role, and he can hit shots. Honestly, I feel that as we get closer to the offseason, depending on what happens, everything depends on how this team looks come playoff time. If the Sixers are to bottom out, I truly believe in my heart that Daryl Morey will flip Tobias Harris faster than you can order a pizza. I really do. I think, Tobias Harris, we know, is overpaid in his role, and a lot of the talks, and according to Andrew Bogut, have been around a sign and trade Tobias Harris to the Washington Wizards, Beal to the Sixers. First, Bradley Beal would have to want to come here, but second off, would it make sense for the Wizards to take a guy like Tobias Harris, right? Like I said, he's overpaid, but he just needs to fit into his role here. However, if he goes somewhere else, who knows what could expand for him or this or that. But yeah, it has to make sense, and I think that Daryl Morey would honestly be interested in flipping Tobias Harris come the offseason time for some 3-and-D scrappy wings. I really do. He could maybe be, alleviate the cap a little bit, right? Maybe take on some expiring contracts or vets, move them elsewhere. I think Daryl Morey should deserve the full trust of Sixers fans. I think he will make whatever happens need to happen, and I think it would be easy. Honestly, I mean, this guy moved the most pitiful contract they've ever seen in Al Horford. He moved it like it was light work in less than a week. I mean, we went to the draft, boom, that night, gone. And then he traded Josh Richardson for Seth Curry. So I'm not really worried about what's going to happen. In terms of the Wizards, would they really be willing to take on, 3 more years of Tobias Harris? I'm sorry, what is it, 2 years? 2 or 3 years? I don't know, man. I don't think the Washington Wizards would really be interested in that. But if Bradley Beal does request a trade or, say he's willing to be on the way out, then as we saw with the sign and trade with Brooklyn, they're going to try to get some assets back. Maybe they would take Tobias Harris. Maybe they could flip him. Who knows, okay? But at the end of the day, in totality, I really don't want Bradley Beal in this team because I don't think he fits anymore. Yes, he would come in and play the wing position. Yes, he could score at a high clip. Maybe we would be one of the most dynamic offenses of all time. But I really feel that we need to upgrade our athleticism, our rebounding. We need to get some scrappy guys in here. And, Bradley Beal was really a dream of ours before, but now I just don't know if it makes too much sense. I'm not saying, I'm completely out on Beal. I just wouldn't take him at any cost. But, who knows? If James Harden was to leave per se, but I don't think he will. But yeah, I don't think that's the direction I want to go anymore. And I don't think that's the direction Daryl Morey wants to go. I think he's going to surround James Harden, Joel Embiid, and now Tyrese Maxey with the best role players possible. And that's really how I see it shaping out if we bottom out. But who knows? Who knows if anybody gets moved at all? It depends what happens in this final stretch. But those are just my thoughts. Shout out to Andrew Bogut dropping some shells on us, right? Some bombs. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? Will Bradley Beal remain a Wizard? Will he stay in Washington the rest of his career? Does he want out? Does he want to come to Philly? I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, I'm content with our team. I think we're on the right track, and we're building something special here, man. Those are just my thoughts. I want to hear from you. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like always, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.